When there's the absence of a God reference, it doesn't matter how much education you give a person, all that you're doing is creating clever devils.
Anglican Archdeacon Christian Glasgow is warning parents of Saint Lucia against raising their children without traditional religious values to serve as psychological guardrails against the social forces that lead to criminal behavior.
You're going to create people who have a lack of a particular God reference in their morality, and therefore everything has a relative value. Even life becomes not important, and so you will find that somebody would snuff out the life of another one for a cigarette.
Archdeacon Glasgow was referencing the killing of Pascal Justin in Dennery last week, who was reportedly killed in a dispute that started when he was asked for a cigarette that he didn't have.
Something as simple as a cigarette. You offend me, therefore I wipe you out. If there's a God reference, you stop and think. Because to begin with, you begin to ask yourself the question, boy, if I did this crime, what happens when the time comes for me to pay for that crime? The absence of a God reference, persons don't ever think that they are doing anything wrong. They just do what they feel is good for them.
He went further to say that in some households, the criminal behavior of young people is actively triggered and facilitated by families and not just a result of neglect.
Beyond that, there's the other issue of making a living. And in this nation, there's a lot of illegal living that is taking place that is aided and abetted by households. You can't tell me that you see a youngster, or anybody for that matter, who's not working, and they're producing all kind of goods for a household. You can't tell me that you don't stop to ask where that come from.
He criticized parents and families who know that their young ones are engaging in criminal behavior but lament openly when it is time to pay the consequences.
When the price for that type of living is paid, then you begin to cry foul. You want justice? What justice do you want? The justice that you really should be getting begins with the molding of the children who are placed in your charge. Teaching them to be able to respect God and to love their neighbor as themselves. Teaching them to make an honest living. And in this nation, if people really want to make an honest living, they can do so. There are many, many opportunities available.
St. Lucia is at a unique crossroads in history where there are, in fact, more opportunities available for training, employment, artistic growth, entrepreneurship, and sports. However, it coincides with a growing number of senseless crimes of passion that end in the deaths of young men who are important to growing the economy of St. Lucia. Government and a wider array of social partners are working to draw young men away from the life of crime, but without the cooperation of responsible families, there may be little anyone can do to save some of these vulnerable at-risk youth. For Choice News Now, I'm Jason Seafley.